Today, most of our attention will be put toward our waterfront monument, but we also have some gaps to fill with villas and parks. Let's get into it! Hello everyone and welcome back to our new episode of Kings Bay City. We are here where we left off at our opera house. I think this turned out great last episode, but we did not finish everything that we wanted to do. And let's take a look around and see what still needs to be done. I'm not saying this is going to be possible in this episode because there's a lot of stuff to do, but we do have a wide empty space here which we need to decorate. We have some open spaces here which we need to decorate. Of course, this part. And we also need to decorate this part here. And I think that's a lot for today. I also wanted to start with placing down some canals here and starting to think about our new build going on the right side here. But let's not get carried away. Let's start by decorating this area right here. And for this area, I had in mind placing down the. It's a little bit empty, so just plopping down some decals and props isn't going to work all that well. I think. So what we're going to do is place down some more buildings, and I know of the existence of the what is it called? I think it's called the City Hall, which is a great building. We have two options, the Amsterdam Palace, which is a little bit too big for my taste to be placed here, and of course the City Hall, which is quite nice. Before we do that, we need a road for it to snap on, and let's start by placing that down. A nice 90-degree angle, excuse me. And let's place it down there. This episode I do want to leave some more time to explain a little bit what I'm doing, so I'm not sure how many time lapses we will get. I think I've done quite a few in the past, and I'm just going to make sure we can follow along a little bit better. So what I am doing is making sure we have enough space in the back, because I think it is quite fitting if we do have some extra parking spaces behind the back as well. And I think I'm going to place down that large parking lot, and of course this doesn't really fit here, so I think I have to wiggle it around a little bit and use our Move It mod here as well. And let's make sure we slide it right on over. Oh, and there we go. I think autosave. The game skipped a little bit, and there we go. We can place this parking lot right on the backside of this building. It is the backside, and I think we can decorate that as well a little bit, but let's start at the front of this building here. And I think it is quite nice to make this visually appealing by, we have this memorial here, we have the City Hall right there, to make sure we have paths going between those two buildings as well. And I see there is some height difference here, so I'll fix that, because if we were going to place down some decals, it will all look a little bit crooked. So I'll be right back. All right, the height difference is fixed, at least in between those two buildings. Alongside here, I couldn't really get that going for us, but that's all right. So where did we finish off? Like I said, we are going to make sure that the people have some walkability options between this small road and the monument here. I think this only is fitting like entering it in this area. and we also need them to be able to get in from the sides. What I like is to have that going like this, and of course on the other side as well. And let's just eyeball it for a little bit. And we do have some light poles sticking out here, which is quite fine, I guess, because people do need some light when they walk here at night, if they walk here at night. And for this little path, I think it is only fitting to make it a little bit different. So let's place down some decals over it, and I think I want to go with some brick pavement decals. And let's see which of those is the best. This one looks fine, and this one looks great as well. And I think this one is rounded off, this one is straight. So let's see if we can place down this one like a path. And of course we're going to the fence mode and make sure that they are in the right angle, or I mean in the right distance between them. And let's just eyeball it a little bit like this. And it seems it isn't really all that straight, but yeah, we're going to see if this is which is better. I think I'm going to follow along the path I just made and redo that decals, or at least change the angle of the decals to fit this. Does it need a little spin? There we go, and a little slide over. Doesn't really look straight from the monument's perspective, but it'll have to do. So there we have our nice path. And of course we're going to stop parking on this road and all the roads around it, because they can park on the other side. And of course we all know how much I like those planters, and we're going to place some of those just alongside of this path as well. And let's make sure they are not too close to each other, because that doesn't look right. And we're going to have to make sure some paths are... There we go. I think this looks great. There we go. And let's see if we can adjust those a little bit farther out like this. There we go. And now let's make sure we place down some trees in those planters. And I have been going with the birches for quite some time now, so I'll just use those in here as well. And those are already occupied because I don't have my prop and tree anarchy on. There we go. And I'm not going to use the prop line tool here, because that only makes it a little bit more difficult to place them accurately, which is good for now to do it manually. So there we go. And of course, I'm not sure if this is the most fitting tree or the most fitting look for this area, but I'll let you comment that down below in the comments if it isn't. And of course we do need to have some branches going off these paths as well, to both directions, and we're going to use the decals for that too. And let's see if we can just copy those decals here. There we go. And there we go. We placed down the brick decals as well. For these sides, I don't think the trees are the go-to option. but I do like to fence it off with something nice. And let's see if we have a glass fence. We do. And let's see if those fit nicely alongside of this path here as well. And there we go. We place down the glass fences alongside these edges too, and of course around these edges. And I think there is something more to be done in this small area. And let's start with a nice concrete decal here as well. And we can place down, I think, some, well, I'm not going to say it yet, but some dining areas. And this looks great. So let's place that down right here. So decals placed. Let's place down some props, and let's start with the ice cream van over here. I think this is a great prop to have here because it is able to just walk away after the tourists have gone. And do we have any more vans for that matter? Not really, nothing that fits in here. And we do have those food trucks, and I think they do make sense in this area. So let's just place down one of those. This is a food stall and this is a food truck, and I think those really do make sense here. And they look quite well. And now for obviously some tables, table set. I think we do have this park table set, and I really, let's just use the modern table set here. I will just plop them everywhere that feels like they belong. There we go. And of course, let's place down some trash bins as well, so people can throw away their wrappers and their ice cream sticks or whichever they have. And this one doesn't really fit in here, so let's just remove it. Okay. Let me just place down some of those. And there we go. Place down some of those, well, just 2 trash bins. We don't need too many of those. And also some lights. And let's turn around to the other side. And I'm not going for the food stall area right here because it doesn't really make sense. Let's place down some benches, and I do like the high level benches, but I think we use those around the Opera House as well, so I think it is only fitting that we place down some more of those. There we go. We place down some benches, and I think it is quite nice to have something extra around here, because we do need a reason for our people to walk over here. And let's just place down these concrete tiny terraced planters because they do act like a small park, which means our people will walk to this area as well. And that gives some extra life around here as well. And let's see, they do look good, but let's line them up properly. And there we go, properly aligned. And I drew in some extra paths as well, so they will be walking around this area, and some extra flowers in those already used planters. There we go, 2 more. And now this looks like a very cozy area to sit and enjoy the view. And of course, we have this area here, which is also quite nice, if I may say so myself. It really doesn't need a lot, it just needs the small things to make it look nice. And then we have this small area right here. I'm not sure what to do with it, but I think it makes sense to fence this off a little bit as well. And let's see how that looks. And there we go, fenced off this area so our citizens don't fall into the water right here. And I see this is a little bit, a little bit floating, which isn't what it's supposed to do. It really doesn't work with me today, but we'll fix that. And now let's see what we can do on this spot. And before we continue, we are almost 50 minutes in, so if you do like this type of content, feel free to like and subscribe. It would help me out a lot. Thank you very much. Yeah, so there is only one thing we can do with this spot. I think one thing that makes sense in this place, and that is terraces. And small terraces where people can enjoy their drinks. I think this is a commonplace around these areas in these kind of spots where everything has to be commercialized, I guess. So let's do that. And maybe let's see the small souvenir shop. Yeah, of course, you do need some souvenirs here, right? That only makes sense. So we'll just fill it up like this. I think that's quite okay. Then this glass fence doesn't really make sense. There we go. And I think it only makes sense to have some trees behind those terraces, because people do need to sit in the shade a little bit. Let's see if we have those as well. And I think for those edges we can use the bark kind of planters. Let's see if we can squeeze that in right there. Those are the block bark planter types, and they look good in this spot, I think. And they fit into this corner. Oh, there we go. I shouldn't have let go of my secondary mouse button, but there we go. Let's see if they fit in here. Now let's place down some smaller ones right here, just a couple with some decent intervals. And of course we need to fill those up with trees, and because we have already used the birches around here, I think I'm going to go for my other favorite, which is the live oak. And of course I cannot upgrade to this type, which I also do not want, but the game is what it is. And let's just use this. And oh, there we go. That wasn't the idea, obviously. Let's use our move it mod to Control H it to ground level. And let's use it again to only select the trees. There we go. And we are going to move it over there, and this one as well. And I will raise those up a little bit further once I've placed them in the right spot. There we go. And our tree spinning mod is doing its job, apparently. So there we go. We have enough trees in. Well, there we go. Control H, and let's raise them up to a higher level. Then we have some nice trees along the shoreline as well. And this looks like a good job. This was not that much, but it looks a whole lot better, I guess. And our little square is done here too. Let's take a look around. This looks great. So for our next spot, we're going right here. So for this area, I don't want to do too much. We just need to place down some autosave, and we skipped a little bit. For this spot, I do want to just use some trees and bushes, nothing too fancy. Maybe a small playground or park. Let's see if we can squeeze one of those in. A park with trees is quite big for this spot, but maybe a small park that's too big as well. Let's see if we can squeeze one of those in, and there are gravel paths here as well. So I think that is fitting. Let's place it down some gravel paths. Let's connect it up. And we'll be done here before we can say gravel path. There we go. And we do have one other entrance right here. And let's not snap to the road, because there we go. And one more. And one down there. So there we have it. Small park for people to enjoy. And of course we do have our bushes, brush, and there we go. Place down some bushes and some trees, and that makes it look a lot nicer, doesn't it? And we are going to do the same here, except for the bushes. We'll just place down some trees. I'll do that manually because our tree forest brush is a little bit too big. Let's see, the live oak is the one I do like, and let's place a couple around. And remember, trees always come together, so they come in pairs. Not in pear trees only, but they do come with a couple of trees together. And I do want this one as well, this big red, the giant redwood. And let's place some of those down here as well, because the giant redwood was already on this map, and they do look great. So there we go. Let's place some of those giant redwoods within our newly built green space. And there we go. In a couple of minutes, we just placed down some trees and made this area a whole lot nicer for our people to live. There we go. And this seems quite well. What I did forget to place down here is one of the guard booths, which is quite nice. I do think it fits here quite well. I don't know if any of you have been to one of the older European cities like London and I think Prague, or whichever city you have with a big palace. There's always some guard booth, and they're parading around at set times with well, they can stand here in or next to those booths and do their thing. And yeah, I think this has made this area a lot better. Perhaps something around this area, but I'll leave that for you for some ideas in the comments. And I think let's switch our focus to this part. And for this area, I do want to have the same kind of vibe that we have going over here. So the paths continue, and let's see if we can place down some nice houses within this area as well. I did find the mansions, so let's plop those down and let's see if they make sense here. I'll pause the game because our citizens won't be able to find their directions once their paths have been deleted. And it seems like these fit in okay-ish here. We'll just do that, and we do needed some extra houses. Looking at our residential demand. There we go, finish these paths. And yeah, they look awesome, those big houses. But of course, big houses need big privacy. So let's make sure they have that. Is it okay if we do have a hedge around it? I'm not sure, we'll see. And this is -4, and there we go. This is a network, and I think that hedge is quite high enough for these people to be able to enjoy their privacy. There we go, and finish it alongside of the all right, this is too short, and let's finish it like this, and make sure that they have a little bigger parcel. There we go. And it would make sense if we place down some carports or some other decals, and first finish our hedges along the edges. There we go. And they look quite nice. Okay, seems we do need to place down some driveways for these people. And let's see if this looks anything like it should. This fits in perfectly right here. Not entirely straight, but it will have to do. And let's place one of those here as well. This one goes straight through the entrance of the house, through the doorway. But people are going in and out. Oh yeah, they're not even a real house. They are tourist buildings, I see. Well, doesn't really matter. And let's see if we can stop the grass from popping through here by painting. Let's make sure it is a little bit grassy. There we go. And there as well. And there, those look quite nice. And of course we're going to go around and hand out some trees in this spot as well. Let's continue with our giant redwood, and for some reason the fencing disappeared around here, which is fine. Place out some of those and some in their backyard as well. And this is all we need to do to make a neighborhood look quite okay. And there we go. Placed down some trees and bushes. I skipped until the end because placing down the trees and bushes wasn't all that interesting. And I think we made a lively neighborhood right here, a lively spot. I think I'm going to return to those mansions in the future because they do look great, and there is so much more to do with those as well. And maybe I can turn them into just regular residential buildings as well. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, I think what we have done so far is quite great. And that concludes this episode. So next episode we are going to focus on the commercial zone you see in the back. We haven't paid much attention to that just yet. We are going to start by placing down the layout for our old city center. Yeah, I can't wait to start with that. So I hope to see you all next week.